If you've been a regular visitor to our little town of Felixstowe, one of the things you'll have got used to at the weekend is seeing the occasional sight of a rescue boat sailing up and down across the sea in front of the beach. And that's always been the Volunteer, which is run by the Felixstowe Volunteer Rescue Service. This year, unless they get some money, you ain't going to see them anymore. Back in 1997, John Cresswell started this service, and in the 19 years to date that it's been operating, they've actually saved 68 lives. They've actually helped around 1,000 people or more out of difficulties, but they've actually saved 68 people's lives. How much is that worth? John Cresswell started the service back in 1997 and still runs it. I caught up with him as he delivered funding paperwork to the town hall.
You can sit here now and as I said, we've had a major incident here on Saturday, and we're the best thing that ever happened now for 48 hours afterwards, but by this time next week we've just disappeared back into obscurity. That's the way it goes, I'm afraid. I can't actually make any promises for the rest of this year. I mean, that really worries me. I sit at home twiddling my thumbs waiting to see what happens. I hate to think how I would have coped with it if we hadn't have been there on Saturday, because I would have felt personally responsible for that. I know that I shouldn't, but I would have done, and so would all my volunteers. And I don't know what happened there at all, emotionally with regard to these people. But I can't make any promises at all that we're going to be out here for any time this year.
If someone came up and said, "What do you need to keep the service running for the rest of this season? What do you need?"
What do I need?
Money terms. Let's nail it down.
I'd say £10,000. Right, that would insure us being out there. That would insure us for anything that may go on. We've got to have a little bit of a war chest, obviously. When I say £10,000, we could get away with less, but getting away with it is not good enough with rescue. We've got to have a little bit spare that we can call on. We've proved that. We've survived not having a war chest for years and years, and that's caught us at the end of the day now, and we're suffering. But we've got to have, say, £10,000 to keep us going till the end of the year, and because of the way we operate, if there's money left, that'll be played in towards next year's service. We won't waste any. We never waste anything at all.
Next year, for a whole year, you need what? Towards 18 grand?
I need towards £18,000, and that will pay for, we're all going to need our first aid tickets re-endorsed for next year. Mm-hmm. The training is ongoing, it's not just that, boat handling certificates, everything. As the legislation offers, we have to keep up with it. There's a lot to it. It's not just a case of patrolling up the seafront. You have to make sure that the legislation comes in place. For us to operate on behalf of the MCA, we have to prove that we're an organised rescue organisation. That's 178 pages of legislation that covers open rescue boats. Before we can actually get off the ground doing anything, we've got to have 5,000 to pay for the insurances and the operating licences that we have to have. The rest of the money that we get in goes on fuel generally, and the fuel obviously is up and down with prices. I mean, generally, if I said roughly £100 a day, that would cover it, because that depends on workload, obviously. We are just going, we're out there, but we do roughly 60 miles a day on patrol. Sure. In fact, Volunteer, since she was built, has been around the earth 3 times. That's not bad for a small volunteer organisation. I can't do any more really to attract funding. If the people can't see how important it is to have a patrol boat, and how lucky Felixstowe is to have one all to its own, it's there for Felixstowe in the immediate area. If they can't actually see that, then there's not much more I can do to attract the money. This is down to the public to get behind us really, and anybody else. Everybody says that. Everybody says to me, well, the public should be doing it. There's plenty of businesses in the area that could back you. Yeah, well, I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for them to come and see us. We haven't had a lot of luck in 19 years, so whether that will change in the future, when times are hard, aren't they? I won't hold my breath until it happens. But personally, my people won't give up until the last minute, I can tell you now. That's too much hard work gone into this.
So that's the story so far. Now we need people to get behind this unique service and to fund it. Could you become part of the solution by becoming a fundraiser? Discuss ways to help on the Felixstowe News Facebook page and the Felixstowe group on Facebook. #Felixstowe Rescue.